Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to everyone, and a warm welcome. On a Friday, we normally say Happy Friday in South Africa. So happy Friday to all of you. It really is a privilege and honor to be here today. I'm Sanisha Munsami, the Ecosystem Manager at Impact Amplifier, and I'm really excited to introduce the Nedbank ReNEW Programme. It's an accelerator program that's born out of a bold initiative, an idea in South Africa, and really tackling two challenges, which is the youth unemployment crisis in South Africa, as well as the massive opportunity waiting to be unlocked in waste management. I'd like to start off by saying we've launched the program, and I'd like to play an introduction video to get the session started.
South Africa generates over 100 million tons of waste each year. But in every challenge, there's an opportunity, especially for our youth. Nedbank, in partnership with Impact Amplifier, is proud to launch the Nedbank ReNEW Programme, a youth-focused accelerator that transforms waste into opportunity. We're taking our green economy strategy to the next level by replicating and scaling innovative, high-impact business models. With a 5 million rand partnership, the Nedbank ReNEW Programme is designed to accelerate existing high-impact, youth-led circular economy businesses, not just ideas. Each enterprise can access up to 1 million rand in funding, creating 10 to 20 jobs per venture. This is about scale, replication, and systemic change. By backing solutions in recycling, upcycling, and reuse, the Nedbank ReNEW Programme directly supports the UN Sustainable Development Goal 12, responsible consumption and production. This is truly funding the gold in green. Implemented by Impact Amplifier, the Nedbank ReNEW Programme goes beyond funding. Entrepreneurs gain access to mentorship, acceleration, and a support network designed to unlock their growth. From here, we will drive job creation, skills development, and youth empowerment, proving that when we invest in youth, we invest in the future.
Thank you so much. Now I'd like to introduce everyone to Gabriella Makonizi. She's the head of social impact, unit at Nedbank. Over to you, Gabriella.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, Sanisha?
I can hear you, Gabriella.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Gabriella, and as Sanisha has said, I'm from Nedbank. And it's a real privilege for me and an honor to be here welcoming everyone to an important moment for us, which is the official information session for the program. At Nedbank, and I'm sure you've heard this statement quite a few times, but I believe we believe in a future of South Africa's green economy that it must be green, inclusive, and youth empowered. And essentially, when we're looking for partners to collaborate with, such as Impact Amplifier, that's the lens that we are looking at when co-designing or co-creating in terms of our programs. And for us, ReNEW, which is this program, stands for Repurpose, Nurture, Empower, and Waste. And it reflects our belief that waste is not at the end of a cycle, but it's the beginning of a new one. And through this program, our hope is that we'd be investing in entrepreneurs such as yourselves, who are hopefully here today, who have relevant work into turning waste into opportunity and building businesses that regenerate communities and ecosystems. And to give a bit of credit to our colleagues, namely Maluta Intervene, this collaboration or initiative was as a result of, I think, over 2 years of collaboration and ideation and partnership with Impact Amplifier and the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation and Circular South Africa. But to give kudos, it was Maluta Intervene, I think, who started a conversation on LinkedIn So thanks to technology there. I think Meluta had posted something on LinkedIn about do you know any partners who are working in this space? And this is what basically started the spark to what we're all here for today. And over the next 3 years, ReNEW will accelerate 30 circular economy enterprises, or any number in between that, provide potentially up to 1 million in funding per business, and create at least 26 sustainable jobs. So we're hoping and have crafted an idea that supports models that are asset light, community rooted, and climate resilient. Sorry, I'm getting static on my side. I think it's fee. So okay. Yeah, and I think the video that we just played speaks to a lot more. It gives a little bit more insight in terms of what we're looking for, and I'm sure that will come up. So to be brief to the entrepreneurs that are here today, this is essentially from our side your opportunity to be part of something that's transformative. And if you're building a solution or are part of a solution that's circular, that's scalable, that has social impact, we would want to support you, want to hear from you. And to our respective partners and allies who are also here today and who will be speaking later on after me. I just want to thank you very much for walking this journey with us. And as we often say at Nedbank, money alone doesn't create impact, partnerships do. So for us, this is a combination and expression of that. So let's build a future where green is the new gold, and where young entrepreneurs and are provided the tools and resources to thrive. Thank you. Let's get started.
Thank you so much, Gabriella. And I think it's very important as we look towards growing the ReNEW program, it cannot be done without strong partnerships that are formed between the public sector and the private sector. So we're very, very excited to have onboarded the Circular South Africa, which is part of the ASIN group. And just to kickstart the introduction in terms of what the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation and the CSI are currently implementing, I'd like to kickstart it with a video from the circular economy side. Thank you.
South Africa's extractive-based economy has led to resource depletion, social inequality, and environmental degradation. The circular economy offers a regenerative alternative with the following principles: designing out waste, keeping materials at their highest value, regenerating natural systems, and benefiting all members of society, especially the marginalized. Key opportunities for a circular economy in South Africa lie in resource-intensive sectors like agriculture, mining, and manufacturing, as well as those that directly affect human well-being, such as human settlements, mobility, energy, and water. The circular economy provides a cross-sectoral systems approach, identifying opportunities within specific sectors while acknowledging the interconnectedness of sectors.
For example, a regenerative agricultural sector would require us to rethink how and where we grow our food. Urban farming methods, such as hydroponic vertical farming, combined with aquaculture, offer ways to nourish plants with fish nutrients while using less water and space. Productivity can also be enhanced by implementing regenerative farming principles, such as crop rotation, companion planting, low to no tillage, and water-saving techniques like drip irrigation and rainwater harvesting. Surplus edible food can be redistributed to those in need, while unsaleable produce can be repurposed into jams, dried foods, and other products. The opportunities for rethinking the sector are endless.
By adopting circular economy principles within and across sectors, South Africa can foster inclusive growth through innovative solutions and diverse work opportunities that prioritize the well-being of both people and the planet. Join Circular South Africa to learn more.
If your resume isn't getting traction, it might be time to change up your strategy.
Okay, and to introduce you to Gabriela Shokur from Circular South Africa, Gabriela is going to present to us in terms of looking at trends and identifying opportunities within the circular economy. Gabriela, over to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gabriela. As Tanisha said, I'm very excited to be here. I hope you all enjoyed that short video and learned a thing or two. But I'm sure many of you are already familiar with these concepts. And I saw a couple of people from the ecosystem here, which is really, really exciting to see. So just a little bit about Circular South Africa. We are South Africa's central hub for the circular economy, and what we do is connect change makers, build partnerships, and share knowledge to shift towards a circular future. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So our mission is really to facilitate cooperation, coordination, and networking between business, government, knowledge institutions, and civil society organizations. And we do this in order to break silos and remove barriers for stakeholders working in this space so that we can bring forward a more resilient and regenerative future. So just a little bit on some numbers. It's actually been estimated that by 2030, $4.5 trillion can be generated through circular economy business models. What's quite interesting about this report is that they also highlighted that entrepreneurship and innovative businesses play a critical role in actually driving this. And as we know, we are currently living in a linear economy where we are extracting all our resources. Once we're done with those products that we create, we discard them, and this causes a lot of issues. So, for instance, in Africa, we generate around 125 million tons of waste annually, with over 19 million tons of this being plastic. And to some extent in South Africa, we are in the recycling economy. There is quite a bit happening in post-consumer packaging, but this is mostly, in the food and beverage sector. But I think it's really important to think beyond just recycling and to the circular economy. And within the circular economy, what we really try to do from the onset is to design products that keep their value within the economy. So this works for maintenance, repair, reuse, recycling, extending product lifespans, and developing effective waste management systems, which we, currently are struggling with quite a bit in South Africa. So the point here really is that the circular economy is no longer a nice to have. It needs to exist at the core of every business, but there's also huge economic potential for this. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So why does the circular economy make good business sense? I think the first point is that it decreases cost. So by designing out waste, such as like packaging, and conserving energy and water, as well as extending product life cycles, this really helps. The second aspect is that you can increase resilience and profit. This is done by diversifying your revenue streams or adding new revenue streams. So looking at byproducts, unused materials, or alternative markets. It also helps to create long-term sustainability. I think also just thinking a lot along the lines of resource security in unstable value chains. It's about job creation and also helps aligning with ESG. And then the third and fourth is, the fourth and fifth. So it's also about adhering to global and local legislative changes like extended producer responsibility. And the other thing is that, South Africa is currently, I think the last stat was only 6% circular. and we have a long way to go. So by being a circular economy business, you are positioning your organization as a front runner and an early adopter. Next slide. So this is just a graphic that I'd like to share on circular economy opportunities within South Africa specifically. So this was taken, it's an interpretation of the CSIR's report on key resource intensive sectors within the circular economy and their opportunities. And really, the point of this is to show you that you can operate within the circular economy across all different sectors, and these sectors are cross-cutting as well. So it's not just in waste management and manufacturing. This goes into, agriculture, human settlements, water, energy, opportunity. There are really an unlimited amount of things that you can do in this space. I think, for example, when you look at mobility, there's huge opportunities in reverse logistics, which is the process of moving products upstream through the supply chain. So this goes from the customer back to the manufacturer or retailer. And essentially what this does is reduce travel, distance, and cost. But I think if you are wanting to explore a little bit more about the opportunities within a particular sector that you work at, you can also access those sector-specific illustrations on our website. And they go with each of the 4 principles. So it's really interesting to see what you can do in that. Next slide. Thank you. And then just a little bit about what the status of the circular economy is in South Africa. So recently we launched a circular economy knowledge, perceptions, and awareness survey. And these are a few of the insights that we've received from our ecosystem. So the first is that key benefits of the circular economy lie in cost reduction, in innovation opportunities, as well as a lower environmental footprint. And what South Africans have identified as priority sectors are waste and recycling, agriculture and food systems, and then manufacturing. So this is really sort of the lowest hanging fruit that people see. And 37%, which was the majority of the respondents, saw that socioeconomic development was the top driver, followed by climate mitigation and economic recovery. And I think what's also quite interesting is that the majority of respondents said that funding is the biggest barrier at the moment, followed by lack of information. So that's just a little bit about what the ecosystem sees the circular economy as in South Africa. You can go to the next slide. And then just to say again, we're really excited to be part of supporting the Nedbank ReNEW Programme. And we as Circular South Africa will be here to support, enable, and amplify your journey as an entrepreneur in the circular economy ecosystem. So really excited to meet you all and looking forward to engaging with you as time goes along. Thank you so much.
Gabriella, thank you so much for your insights and trends within Circular South Africa, and I'm sure all the participants will surely follow Circular South Africa. We're very excited, obviously, to be launching the Nedbank ReNEW Programme just ahead of COP30, and I'd really like to introduce everyone to the founder of Impact Amplifier, who's going to share with us the program rationale. It's very important why this challenge really matters to us as South Africa, and really looking at the reason why we're here today is to look at the key criteria, the acceleration, and really looking at the funding process. So Max, I'm going to hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanisha, and Gabriella. Thank you for that context, both Gabriellas, in fact. So yeah, really appreciate everything here. So folks, yes, my name is Max Pishlik. Super excited to have all of you here. I co-founded Impact Amplifier in 2011, and really our reason for being is trying to accelerate and fund business solutions to social problems. That's really the premise of our work. We have both what we call a DAF, a donor advised fund, which allows funders and partners like Nedbank to deploy funding that we can then chop into smaller sizes and deploy into these innovations alongside capacity work. We are also a regulated asset manager, which means we also build concessionary or blended capital fund structures, which is generally follow-on funding from grant rounds. And that's really a core part of our work. And then I think above that is ecosystem development, meaning that it's not just funding and capacity and acceleration that drives the change, but it's really trying to shift the system of support. And that's where we have great partners in the form of Nedbank. I see Alina from the DSTI is on board at the Department of Science and Technology Innovation, and other partners at Technology Innovation Agency, Nokwazi, I see he's on board as well. So really trying to look at the influences of the system that creates the change. And these public-private partnerships are incredibly important because not only do these entrepreneurs need the funding, but for instance, some of them might be getting a license at a local municipality level to, to work with organic waste. And we need to be able to lever those relationships as much as possible. So that's really who we are in a nutshell, and it's an absolute privilege. I mean, we have 81 participants here, and I'm guessing all South Africans and all patriots to this country. And I think at the heart of what we're doing is we want to see South Africa thrive. So, just some housekeeping, folks. For those of you who haven't joined the WhatsApp group, please do go to impactamplifier.co.za /renew. My colleague Antonio will post a link if you don't have it already. You'll be able to join the WhatsApp group. All of our presentations we'll be able to share online there in WhatsApp after this session. And we'll also share a recording of the session post finishing. So, yeah. Next slide, please, there, Sanish. Right. So, I mean, I think we don't need to go over the rationale. I think everyone understands. Everyone understands what we're here for, and I think Sanisha and Gabriella, both Gabrielas gave a good context, but there is a big opportunity and a need to enable these innovations. And really what the Nedbank, the Nedbank ReNEW program is trying to do is we're trying to identify what we think are high opportunity innovations. We're trying to deploy grants into them. And we are also needing to think about layers of youth and gender inclusion as part of what we're doing. That doesn't mean to say that the venture needs to be youth-owned, but what we are trying to do is build sustainable, scalable models that impact both youth and gender issues. And this could be in the form of youth employment, through jobs, but it also it could be through micro entrepreneurs, but it also could be an organization founded by youth. So we're looking at youth across multiple dimensions. And lastly, we need to build the ecosystem and these partnerships so that we can do more and offer more to the ventures. And those ecosystem building exercises include the WhatsApp group that many of you are joining, and our ability to disseminate information and opportunities through that network. So please, take a look at the rules of the WhatsApp group. Please share opportunities in the circular ecosystem in South Africa. And then what we will start doing is showcasing some of the interesting innovations that we find. and trying to also build more capacity into the ecosystem. And I'll talk through some of that just now. So next slide there, please. So really what we're trying to do is we're trying to accelerate in this pilot, which is going to exist over 12 months. We're trying to accelerate 30 enterprises, fund between 5 and 10 of them in our first cohort, with grant sizes up to R1 million, and showcase 10 innovations. One of the secondary things that we're also going to be doing is we're going to be launching a self-service or an online learning system that will allow circular businesses to get grant or investment ready. So besides actually being able to accelerate 30 organizations directly through this process and fund 5 to 10, we can invite a whole range more who want to go through self-learning, hundreds more in fact, and have that as a free resource to the community. And when we see those organizations, those companies go through the process, we will look to fund them as well. So the impact is potentially far greater. And ideally, off the back of that, what we're really trying to do is create jobs. Next slide. So the target for our first cohort is 26 new jobs between the 5 to 10 organizations that we fund. We obviously want to see environmental impacts as well. We want to look at the waste that is processed. We want to understand the carbon that's captured. There might be other tangential impacts on energy and water. We want to look at those as well. And ideally, success for us looks like not just creating the jobs, but ensuring that the environmental metrics exist as well. And part of those jobs, we're looking at women and youth employment, either directly within the supply chain of the circular venture, or indirectly through the value chain that we might find. So there is a M&E component that's built into the process that we will be thinking about and working with our investees. And really what we sort of envision is that the impact is not going to be created immediately from when the funding is deployed, but is more than likely going to take between 12 to 24 months post the funding. And if we can do that and show success for that with this grant fund, we seek to obviously grow that fund. For those who sort of want to know a little bit more, we don't deploy money all up front. We set very, very clear targets and metrics, and we deploy capital in tranches. And ultimately, we deploy them according to a growth path that you as the organization are setting. Next slide there. So the key criteria that we're looking at is, we want to see some form of innovation, not innovation for the sake of innovation. It might be a technology, it might be science-based, it might be a business model, it might be an approach that you're collectively managing waste and creating some sort of benefication. But ultimately, the innovation must create some form of commercial scalability or margin in the unit economics of the venture. So we're using innovation in a very specific way that speaks to the commercial viability of waste. And I think if you look at the vast majority of circularity, it's very much very low unit economics, high volume, low unit economics. So where we can see value creation that's being made that can create those jobs, create those scalability factors, and potentially get the organization off grants in the medium term into more commercial capital in the future, that's ideally what we're looking at. We want ventures that are post-revenue, so not idea or concept stage. We're looking across all sectors in the circular economy, so all are welcome, from urban agriculture to plastic waste to organic waste streams, any layer of circularity, even if it's waste to energy, we'll look at that. We're very mindful that we only have up to R1 million per company in funding to deploy. So it tends to support companies that are asset light and don't need absolutely millions in capex to be able to support and fund. We do need full-time team members, so we are looking for a co-founding or founding team that is full-time in the project, that is not part-time. We do want a minimum of 51% South African ownership, and we will also look beneficially on those companies that are youth-owned. Even though that's not the only criteria, we will also have an additional layer there. But we will support companies that aren't youth-owned but have an impact on youth in other ways in their business model. And the geography, although we will be selecting for those companies that are in the top 3 or top 5 metro cities, we are really trying to extend our networks to find solutions in Limpopo and Mpumalanga and in the other provinces. So it's not squarely and only centered in the top 5 metro cities in South Africa. So applications are open. impactamplifier.co.za/renew is the URL. Antonio will repost it. And we are open until the 9th of October. So we are 6 days away from closing. So if I give you a tip, it would be really to start filling in those application forms now, because we will start reviewing even before the end date. And really take your time and effort and be thorough in those application forms. One-word answers and any shortcuts is not advised. Really put your heart and soul into it. We also are cognizant that application forms can take a long time, and we don't like wasting entrepreneurs' time. So it shouldn't take that long to fill in. We try to limit it. And those who get into the program, we will be collecting more data lately. So, I would expect it only taking 45 minutes to fill in. All right, next slide, please. So from an ecosystem approach, you can see that we're not looking for concepts or pre-revenue opportunities. Nedbank actually has other programs that support really, really early stage pre-seed opportunities. We are looking for post-revenue, emerging replication, opportunities up for replication. And we can deploy grants specifically in those two. We've added replication very specifically, meaning that sometimes the business model might grow in existing geography, but it's actually at the right stage and maturity to replicate to a new province. And this means we would like to see, in fact, that we can fund replication opportunities from one geography into another. And that might be just one community to another community, but it also might be one province to another province. And we're quite excited about models that work in one place. Let's say peri-urban in Limpopo that can move to Gauteng or vice versa. We do see, given that this is funded by a bank, we have a vision of, with smaller rounds of money, proving that the organizations that we support, we can at least prove that they are working and they're hitting their milestones. And then our objective really, sorry, that's my WhatsApp going. Our objective really is to try and also support follow-on loans and returnable capital. And this is very important, because if we can get these circular innovations out of the grant dependency and becoming more commercially orientated, and if they can actually take on debt and repay debt, then we can recycle amounts of money back into other ventures and also offer far bigger deal sizes to those organizations. So in some ways, we are looking at this project as a pipeline to be able to deploy bigger rounds of money, even though we don't have them currently available. And then ultimately for the bank, potentially at some point in the future, these organizations can take on commercial loans and take on more commercial capital and then free up the grant money and the concessionary debt for the next generation of early stage circular ventures. So I think it's not just about this grant fund and ReNEW, it's about looking at the whole capital and capacity infrastructure in South Africa. And this is why we form partnerships with the DSTI and with the Technology Innovation Agency and Circular SA and banks, is that we can start to create the right financial instruments that's for the right stage of the company. And in our opinion, there's not enough patient returnable capital in South Africa. So many of these organizations and companies get stuck at a very particular stage of growth. And hopefully over time, we can try and solve that collectively. Next slide, please. So there are some FAQs that people might have. I'm hoping today you have some more, and then we can update our website with those FAQs. But some of them might be about how much money should you apply for. In our opinion, you should not apply for the maximum amount of money. You should really apply for the amount of money you need to do something very specific. So, we don't look on it as a positive that all our applicants apply for R1 million, as an example. We want to see a very clear link between how much you need and what you're going to do with that. And part of the acceleration process will help you do that. We do have minimums and maximums. The minimums won't be that strict. The maximums are very strict because, there is going to be smaller amounts of money available for validation. We might see a very post-revenue but nascent organization that needs to validate still more areas of their business. We'll be able to deploy smaller amounts of money for them. And then larger amounts of money for replication cases or where there's a very clear validation that's being that exists. If you make the program and you accept it into the program, being one of the 30 organizations that come in, you don't automatically get the funding. We really have to work with you on those cases. And there will be a mix of group acceleration, and some organizations will be selected for one-on-one acceleration. And from our sense is once you're selected, we're looking to accelerate you for anywhere between 3 and 6 months. There's some organizations that are more ready than others, and those we can actually do quicker. So it's not that the cohort all moves through one process and at the end, the funding is provided at the end of the program. We might find that there's an organization that's really ready, and we don't want to put them through all of the modules of the acceleration and then make them go through things that they're not needed. We will have an accelerated track for those that are more ready than others, and for the organizations that are earlier stage and need more broader support, they'll go through that process. So just so you realize, we'll have sort of 2 parallel processes or 2 tracks. One will very much be a group track where there's an online learning system, and it's for the earlier stage organizations, and they'll go through group acceleration, and there are 9 modules, and that process will take up to 6 months to complete. And then as and when we see more mature companies who enter that system that need more tailored support, we will pull them out of the group process and give them one-on-one support to get them over the line quicker to access the funding. And really what we're trying to develop in the acceleration are funding documents that can go to an internal committee, and that internal committee will look at the strength of the case and what they're wanting to do. And then if we feel that they meet the criteria and the quality, and we think that we can trust this team to execute, then we will deploy the money in tranches according to a very, very set process. So we will work with you very, very closely. And at the end, for the organizations that did go through the acceleration, but also do have funding, we are going to offer a leadership retreat where we will be able to really work with you one-on-one. Because we are human beings, and many of us and the entrepreneurs on this call are working in low-income environments under lots of stress and are resource restraints. There are lots of other issues that affect performance. And on that leadership retreat, we will collectively get to know each other and really talk through those issues and really feel whether we can tackle what is not in the business case, but what's happening in the human, and the complexities of working in the environments that we work in and the stresses that we are under. And I think that shared retreat will often be able to be very supportive to the cohorts going in the future. For those who aren't funded, we will offer a leadership masterclass as well, which will be virtual. So we'll do both. But for everyone who's joining, probably expect anywhere between 3 months to 6 months of capacity development in a combination of group and one-on-one, ultimately then resulting in an investment case or funding documents that end up going to a committee. And the ones that get funded, we will probably deploy that funding over a minimum period of around 6 months in tranches, subject to certain milestones being met stage by stage. So, if you are a for-profit, a non-profit, or even a hybrid organization, you've got a for-profit and non-profit, you're welcome to join. So there's no problem there. And then look out for our partnerships with DSTI and Circular South Africa for trying to really elevate and showcase what we believe are the strongest innovations and cases in the countries through that network. So we're hoping that through the group, through our forming of our relationship together, through the acceleration, through the funding, WhatsApp, and some of the communication channels, and especially the leverage that Nedbank has as a national bank. And I think this cannot be underqualified, how powerful that brand is and what additional resources you can bring to bear. Not only are you joining this program, you really are joining the Nedbank family of programs where I think, we're really trying to see these ventures succeed over the medium to long term. Okay, next slide there. Okay, I just want to run through the online application form. I'm guessing, Antonio, this is the PowerPoint. I think I might have to share my own screen and run through the. Oh yes, there we go. Let's start at the top. So I think one of the most important things for you folks to do is just right at the top, if you don't mind, is try and fill this online form out in Word to be safe. If you want to take your time and you don't want load shedding to happen or your laptop to go off and you're losing data, really try and take the questions offline in Word, copy the question, write the answer, and then take your time to fill it out and then copy and paste it across into the form and hit submit. In the beginning, you'll see a privacy notice and terms of use. This is really just to look at what terms, because we are regulated, both the bankers and ourselves, read those notices. We intend only to share your data to our program partners, not to other entrepreneurs, not externally. So your confidential information will be kept confidential with us. And it's important from the POPI Act perspective, but it's also important from us as a financial services provider. So please read those terms. We will keep it confidential. It will be stored in the cloud and only shared to our partners and program mentors, which include Nedbank, Impact Amplifier, DSTI, Circular South Africa, and the mentors that we appoint. We can scroll down. In the beginning, it's just some basic information. Everyone's used to that with company reg data. This is all standard. We're trying to also figure out, for those who join the program, some baseline information of where your organization is at. I think one of the most important things here is really the problem statement. We need to really understand the problem you're trying to solve and some form of solution that you have. And in the solution will determine the innovation and your uniqueness as in terms of what you're providing. And sometimes the uniqueness is science-driven and technology-driven. Sometimes it's actually business model and how you are managing waste systems at a community level. So we're interested in systems innovations and business model innovations as much as we are interested in technology innovations. We also obviously want to know where the jobs exist, directly and indirectly. You know, if you don't understand the Sustainable Development Goals, Google them or go through ChatGPT and take a look at that. Senzo, thank you for your message there. We'll share the WhatsApp group. Antonio will share the WhatsApp group in the chat as well. You will find it all on impactamplify.co.za/renew. We do want to see your financial statements, audited or unaudited. This gives us a sense of your maturity of where you are at in your organization, and what base level of internal financial systems you have. It also gives us an instance on how you're structured as an organization. So please share as much as you have. If you don't know how much funding you need, put in approximates and just write some notes. Just be honest. If you get into the program, we're going to work it out. It doesn't mean to say that we're locking you into a certain amount at this stage. You'll be working with our teams to figure out how much you need and to do what with. There's some disclaimers around that, and some more BE information we'll request. And if there's any youth ownership. We are really interested in your CVs, your sales collateral. It could be a business plan. It could be your order book or sales pipeline. We are looking for all of that as well. Please put it in. And, it's not that heavy, we think. And I think also, trying to figure out what other accelerators you've been in, how long you've been around, how much funding you've had, and details of the funding. That's important for us, just so we understand it. And we also would like a couple minutes video pitch of your business, and that's just to get to know you a little bit better. So, yeah, that's basically it. I think it's not it's not going to be too difficult. But maybe this is a good time for us to take some questions. We might run, we might run a little bit over in time, but I think it would be great just to, if anyone has questions, I'm going to allow people to perhaps put their hands up. And then I'll also allow them to unmute themselves. Please use your hands if you want to ask questions. And then we'll select you and then unmute you. And then also, if you can, introduce us by your name and give us 10 seconds about what your company does before asking the questions. Our team is recording the session, so we'll be able to update the Q&A if there's information we find missing from what you're asking. Okay. Lindani, please. And please, folks, if any of you are on board, I know if it's a bad hair day, I understand, but it'd be wonderful to see your faces as well. So even if you're not asking a question, if you are able to, please show us your faces just so we start to get to know you as well. We'll know you digitally on WhatsApp, I think at some point, but it'd be really good to put a face and a name to a voice. So yes, please put your cameras on. Okay. Lindani, please go ahead.
And then, Dan, if you can just unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. Greetings. First of all, my apologies for not turning on my camera. I'm not in a good space. But I'm based in Pietermaritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal. So I'm a founder of a non-profit company which specializes on farming operations. So what we basically do, we used waste to produce our crops, and we also use the chicken manures. We also collect the chicken manures from different farmers in order for us to produce organic production. So I wanted to ask on based on this one. So we formed our company. We are farmers, so we then decided to form a non-profit company that will become a market for other farmers who do not have access to market, or basically to those farmers who do not meet the demand of the other markets or of the supermarkets and all of that. So our company is only 2 months now registered. I wanted to ask, based on the financial statements, to say how are we going to work around that one if your company is still on the early stages? Because our bank account was only approved today, but we've already started with our operations, and we have a solid background or strong background of what of our operations. Let me put it like that. Thank you.
Okay. So, Ndani, by the time you apply, I think from a criteria perspective, we have to see and have evidence that you are trading and you are earning. So if you have other ways of verifying that you meet the criteria, please share it. That might be to take the form of an order book of clients that you have. It might be a manual spreadsheet you set up of the revenue earned from whom. The more detail that you share with us in uploading the files, and the more that you can show us that you are trading and are earning, even if you don't have all your infrastructure set up, I think that's absolutely fine. The criteria is post revenue. Even if it's the company's early, as long as it's trading and long as it's earning, you would meet the criteria. I hope that helps.
Yes, it helps. Thank you very much. I'll do so.
And I hope you end up feeling better as well, Ndani. Sorry to hear. Okay. Makatola. Hi, Joseph.
Hi, how are you, sir? How are you all?
Oh, wonderful, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. This is Maketola Mjoun, Director of Crystal Waste to Life. Our enterprise is based in Gauteng, and then over past 4 years, we were in collaboration with the University of South Africa under biogas or renewable energy implementation in ECDs, especially in informal settlement. Our mission was to enable children to be able to access education at the early stage and minimize the cost of energy as per operations of the ECDs, because we believe that if we provide the alternative energy system, it can at least minimize the operation cost for ECDs, and then they can at least drop their prices in terms of school fees. So, and then through that, we learned that in terms of sustaining the project through feeding, through construction and replication of the project, we had 4 sites actually, or we have 4 sites whereby we have 3 ECDs, and then 1, it was a feeding scheme or foundation for feeding scheme. So through that, we evolved from energy producing only, where we utilized the organic waste. We then say, okay, in terms of completing the system or completing the circle, we need to utilize one process construction waste, recover and process construction waste, and utilize the construction waste to build our systems to minimize the cost. Number 2, to establish the micro drop points within the community, especially whereby there is no permanent system like informal settlement, so that we can be able to harness the organic waste and recyclable waste, and then enable the community to have a coordinated waste drop sites, and then this system will be also integrated with the municipality working system or logistics system in terms of collecting and dumping. Then we in that sense we wanted to sustain the project because we are struggling at the moment with feeding, because there is cost in terms of feeding and everything. So having said that, we managed to talk in with the city of Johannesburg to start with piloting in terms of construction waste and establishing the micro points pilot project. So, and then what I was trying to understand from your side is that if maybe a company, like we are a company, we are not an NPC or we are not a NPO. So are we eligible to be able to participate in this?
Yeah.
And
Yes,
okay.
we're very happy to have for profits, and you're doing impactful work. I think what we will be looking at very closely is how does your system economically sustain itself beyond just the grants, and we will look at that. So yeah, thank you for that. You would apply, and obviously we're looking if you're post revenue and you're operating. Where and how are you generating revenue? And for many of you, it'll be a blend of grants and earned income. So we're not going to penalize people or organizations for having grants. We understand that in low income, low unit economic environments, there is a blend. But what we're trying to really bolster is the commercial sustainability and the growth, so that you become less dependent on grants and you are able to trade more and more in the market. So, okay, so thank you for that. So folks, just in describing your organization, maybe just take, because I know we got limited in time, and I think let's go 10 past if all of you are still happy to do that. I think we've got a little bit more time till 1:15 as we scheduled. So we've got 15 minutes left. So maybe a short introduction, and then let's get to the questions. So Benele, on to you. Nice to meet you. We can't hear you. I can see you're unmuted, but your microphone's not working. Okay, there's a problem there. Benelli, I'm just gonna mute you for a second, and let's go to King Moreno, and we'll come back to you just now. King, how's it? Nice to meet you.
Good. How are you, man?
Good,
nice to meet
good.
You.
Thanks for joining.
Right, thanks, man. I'm actually at my job. I'm on duty, so I'm gonna make this real quick.
Yes.
My wife and I, we've got a tire recycling company that we are in the preliminary stage. I heard somebody ask a question, and he was asking with regards to if you're not operating, can you still apply and can you still qualify?
The short answer is no. We have to have you operating. So if you are recycling tires already and generating income, even if it's 10 Rand, 100 Rand, 1,000 Rand, then you would make the criteria. So if you aren't operating yet or not generating income out of the purchasing and selling and repurposing of tires, then no, not yet. However, there are also other programs in Nedbank that you can apply for. And I think what we will do is if you join the WhatsApp group, we will point you to the other programs. And I think we'll even have a call with some of the other Nedbank program heads to show the vast programmatic opportunities between the Nedbank family as well.
Perfect. That answers it. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you, King. Benelli, should we come back to you? Should we give it another shot? No, nothing we can hear yet. Okay, so let's go to Eric. Eric, nice to meet you. I love your background there. Where are you?
Uh, Good afternoon. Yeah, no, thank you very much. Actually, I'm working from, I've got a home-based office, so that's where I'm working from. My name is Eric Koza. As you can see, I'm representing the company called Tirec.
Yes.
We are doing basically the same thing as King Moreno. We are in waste tire recycling, but I decided to call it end-of-life tire beneficiation. We started with the project in 2023. So we are post-revenue because we do sell pre-processed tires to other end users. So my question is, I tried to apply. I think when it was opened, and when I saw the notification that the application is open, then I applied. My only frustration with the online form is the word count. Because I think if you use Word to do the word count and then you copy and paste, then I pasted 1,500 words, but the system went to like over 7,000 characters. So I think there is something wrong with the system there, because but I tried to shave the information as much as I could down to 1,000 words, but still, I wasn't too happy with with my response, because I had to cut some of the critical information and repackage it.
Okay.
So maybe it's a question, but maybe it's also a caution that maybe just look into the algorithms into your system. Thanks.
So, Eric, have you already submitted an application already, and you would like to potentially amend yours?
Correct, yes. I would like to amend, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Antonio, who's on the call, to specifically look into that issue with word count. We will up it and increase it. And then what we will do is he will communicate with you personally and help you rectify that if you would like to amend your application. No problem there at all.
Okay,
No
thank
problem.
you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so Dean, I'm going to come back to you just now, Benele. Dean, do you want to come up? I can't see your face. I do see a strange background there. I think you maybe got the reverse camera on, but anyway, nice to meet you, Dean. You're on mute.
Trying. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I just can't see you. I can see your finger.
Okay. Now, for some other reason, with the video, my image isn't coming up. So let's see if that works.
Okay. Oh, there you are. There we go.
Am I there?
You're,
okay. All right. Well, welcome.
Okay.
Nice to meet everybody. Thank you. Okay. Dean Haysek, I'm calling from George, although the organization does operate in principle nationally. Love SA is a socio-economic and political entrepreneurship organization with an NPC, NPO wing or leg, as well as a PTY, because we don't mind starting off with assistance, but it has to become self-sustaining, which is, I think, an ethos which you shared quite well in your presentation. My question is, at the moment, we are dealing with a tension between the fact that we do need cheap imports because there's lots of poor people in South Africa, but we also need local producers because there's too much unemployment. And we are running a trial and a program with our local spas where we're doing a merchandising exercise with them. And what has come up in the midst of this is that there are a number of smaller producers who are independent and direct producers and suppliers of goods to the different spas and other things who we are interacting with and working with. And part of what we're trying to assist them with is to get them to become more compliant, to be able to go through to the central offices of the spa, like the Eastern Cape DC, for example, that runs as far as George. They can't take on every small supplier unless they're compliant. And part of that compliance is there's an element of this circular economy requirement to a degree. It does help them. So I don't necessarily have the industry myself, but I have a number of projects that we would like to work with people that fall directly into the circular economy structure and potential funding. So my question would be that me not necessarily be doing it myself, but would be working with the guys who do. Am I able to source the funding, or do they need to participate with me, or I participate with them in the application?
Yes. So I suggest in that instance, Dean, we would consider you an ecosystem intermediary, similar to ourselves. I would get them to apply and then have you systematically work potentially with them and our team to achieve the outcomes of the program. So it might mean that they go through group mentorship and you become a personal mentor to them alongside that process if you want, and you can help them with the application form. But I think they would need to apply themselves. And we can also, if they go through one-on-one mentorship, we can also have you as a counterparty, and we can think of and if they get into the program, we can talk strategy between ourselves, the entrepreneur, and your clients, let's call them. So yeah, have them maybe share the link of ReNEW and have them join the program, and maybe also help them with the application form and/or include your name into the application form as supporting them when we go through the sort of the adjudication process.
How would the funding be distributed? Because although I'm not doing it just for the money, I do need to earn out of it as well.
Look, we wouldn't necessarily have our source of funding go towards any referral fees to the project. However, if you come up with a proposal to them, and that comes off their balance sheet and income statement outside of the funding that Nedbank provides, we'd obviously need to verify that that's not a problem.
So, I mean, just to pick your brain, if I may, just for another 5 seconds, would it then make sense for me to maybe on the new aspect of development, because we're dealing with waste, which they're not currently dealing with, in that new aspect, which actually becomes a new enterprise, that I am a part of that, would that simplify?
Well, then they're not post-revenue and they wouldn't meet the criteria. So ideally, they should have experience in generating revenue through waste. If they're not doing waste and they're in some other type of business, then they would be, from our perspective, a pre-seed organization.
But if the waste is coming from their existing business, so may I give you an example?
Yes.
Okay, so the one guy that I'm working very close with, he is cutting down forests of black wattle, but a lot of the bark is going to waste, and the bark is what is used for tanning, but he's not doing it, and he doesn't have the funding to set that part up.
Yeah. So we could look at that. So we could look at an opportunity. He would need to apply, and you would need to come to some sort of financial arrangement with him in supporting him. And then essentially when he applies, we would look at what that source is doing. We would be quite critical of it if he hasn't proven the revenue stream just yet. We would look at it, but we would need to make a determination whether it is post-revenue or not. He's obviously earning money from cutting down the wattle, but not benefiting it. So these are things we could go and I think he would make the criteria. We would just need to look at the application more directly. Okay.
Fine. And then my last question would be would it be better for me to position that in the KwaZulu-Natal area and not in George, which is not a metropole?
No, not the way. You don't have to worry about that. You decide what province you want to go through.
Okay, no, because you said earlier that you're focusing on the bigger metropoles.
No, not focusing. We just want to make sure that we have a blend of portfolio that stretches itself beyond the metropoles into other areas. So we will have another additional criteria layer. Okay.
All right, wonderful.
Thanks,
thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay.
No problem. Benelli, let's come back to you. No, still no voice. Okay, sorry, can't hear you. Safisa, do you want to come in? You're on mute, Safisa. Do you want to come in? No, Safisa is not coming off. Let's go to Matema next. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Let me put your camera on. There we go. Hi, Matema. Unmute yourself if you can. Hi, Matema.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you. Hi.
I don't right. Yes, I'm Matima Tusaro. I'm running a company called Dawusi Jala Enterprise, which is a circular economy company. So we actually operating at the intersection of sustainability, technology, and social impact. We have three solutions that we're working on. It's a domestic waste program where we recruit and train waste pickers or unemployed people to become waste consultants. And we also have a waste link platform, which is the digital marketplace platform where we connect waste generators with waste collectors. And lastly, we have eco hubs where we are actually creating these eco products from the waste materials. So we've got school bags, we've got drinking glasses, laundry bags that we make from waste. So our eco hubs, they differ with mostly known recycling centers. So we mostly buy the products from the people that we trained them mostly. So my question was based on there was a question where they said you banking with Nedbank. So I wanted to ask if it will disadvantage some of us which were not using Nedbank, or maybe in the future when
it won't disadvantage you. We won't disadvantage you if you're a Nedbank client. Okay. But I think Nedbank would very much like to support you, and you end up being a Nedbank customer. So, but you're not going to be disadvantaged. Okay, thank you, Matema. Vimal, do you want to come in?
Yeah, thank you.
Just put your hands down if you've spoken already. We'll take two more questions, and I think we don't want to take too much of your folks' time and go over time, but let's take a couple more questions, and we'll run just past 1:20.
All right, thank you, and good afternoon to everyone. It's a very interesting program. My question, I'm from a company called 360 Social Impact, and we've already passed research early stage of obviously developing technology to basically recycle food and organic waste. And my main question is, we are at the stage we want to scale, and we wanted to understand, what type of network can basically impact Amplifier and probably Nedbank to say, we're at a stage where we want to grow the business and scale it. And we've done a lot of our self-funding as an investment. But the question is, how do we partner and move forward in the scaling side of the project? And what type of resources are provided or networks that are provided? Thank you.
Yeah, so Vimal, I think firstly, what we're going to try and do is look at your growth plan and your investment case and try to get it bankable and make it clear for the money that we're going to deploy if you are successful in getting into the accelerator and successful for funding. So, if you go through group acceleration, it's largely group mentorship and education focused, but very targeted at your business plan and your investment case. If you're selected for one-on-one support, you'll get a very strong transaction and management, a generalist who's a management. That person will help you get that case to some form of bankability. And then afterwards, we'll deploy the money anywhere between 100,000 and up to R1 million. If we do like the innovation, the technology, and we think it's has a huge potential and is replicable, ourselves with Nedbank and Circular SA and potentially DSTI and our other partners will then try and showcase that innovation out between our networks. And then hopefully if you are successful and we see you hit your milestones, our aim would be to try and even get follow-on funding for you later downstream. It's not part of the program, but it's definitely an intentionality that we have. So our networks are broad, and some of them are very, very specific. So it really depends on your technology, your company, and the networks we have. We do have vast networks. It's just whether those networks are a fit for your sector or your stage. And we would try to bring those networks to bear and support you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Manele testing.
Yes, Benele, hi. You're
Yes.
testing,
Hi,
you're
man.
working. You're with us. We've been waiting for you.
Yes.
We've been excited.
Hello, everyone. My name is Banele Ndlovu. I am from Pimville, Soweto. I run a waste management business called Khabiso ya Lefatshe. It was named after my late brother, Khabiso. Khabiso means decoration. So Khabiso ya Lefatshe, decorating earth. We have a bin washing business. We have a bin washing business. We into recycling. So our recycling service is a door-to-door service. We're working with around 500 plus houses in our neighborhood. We give our neighbors plastics and then they sort out the waste for us. Getting the money from bin washing and recycling has enabled us to start a poultry business. So we grow chickens from day old up to 6 weeks, and then we sell again to our neighbors. And the manure that the chickens make, we are into illegal dumping spaces. We clean the spaces, and we have a fruit and vegetable garden. And in all of my operations, I'm employing 7 people. I started my business 5 years ago, and I'm 24 years old. Thank you.
Love it. So Benele, you're perfect. You meet the perfect criteria of what we're looking for. So please apply. Go thoroughly through the application form. And our teams will be very much there to tease out and hopefully see where your scalable growth paths are. So this is exactly the sort of thing that we like. And I think, Benele, what you're also sharing, folks, which is, I think, endemic of companies in the circular space, is that they end up having diverse revenue streams and needing to not just be offering one set of services to make their business models work. So we're excited to receive your application.
Thank you so much, sir.
Awesome. Okay, last question from Tumelo, and I think that's all we can handle today because we are running over time. Let's take Tumelo your question, and then I think we can close up.
Hi, I hope I'm audible. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are a bit fuzzy, but I can hear you.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a speaker problem, but thanks. Mine is a quick one, right? So name is Tumelo Chilwane. I'm from Green Card Solutions, and we are running a tech-enabled e-commerce platform that helps small-scale farmers to connect directly with informal traders, because our focus is on helping small-scale farmers tackle the issue of post-harvest losses, as well as trying to kill waste on the edge side of the buyers, right?
Cool.
So my question is on traction, right? So we, up to the beginning of this year, we've been operating under Desert Green, which was the mother company, and we were viewing Green Card as a product, right? But we have recently diversified, and we've left Desert Green to focus more on AI tools to support small-scale farmers. And we have broken out Green Card as a standalone business to be the focus for the tech-enabled micro distribution platform for small-scale farmers and informal traders, right? So in the submission currently, we are obviously applying for Green Card, but part of our traction exists under Desert Green, right?
That's fine.
Of course,
and we know, and Impact Amplifier knows Desert Green, so we have that history.
So, okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So yeah, I just wanted to double check if we can include both. So yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, included in. It's no problem. We want to look at not only the traction of the past, but the traction of the current, and we will take that into cognizance. So put that in your application, and we will also link up any other. Our teams have worked with your organization in the past, so we can look at that application as well.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tumelo. Okay.
Hey, good day. Safisa, yeah.
Oh, Safisa. Okay, last question. Last
Last
one. No
question.
problem. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Safis Dlamini. We are running an organization called Gogo Waste.
Yeah.
We collect recyclables. We've been working for a year now. But what we are into, that I think we would apply for, is black soldier flies farming.
Yes.
So we are looking at dealing with the major organic waste that is generated by businesses, restaurants, and households, so that we can use that to produce your pest food, your livestock feed, and stuff like that. So yeah, that is where we are planning to go into right now. So I'm just looking at whether do you think our application stands a chance? Would it qualify?
It's really if you meet the criteria, Safiso. So if you are trading and you can show that you are, you've started to set up the infrastructure on the farm or where you're getting your feedstock, and you're starting to take flies from larvae to processing organic waste and starting to sell on the market. If you are post revenue, then we can look at you. If you're still very, very early, we will put and refer you to potentially other Nedbank programs as well.
Yeah, because the black soldier flies we haven't started on that one.
Yeah.
We are currently we're just doing the recycling, but we've been doing that for a year now.
Yeah, so I think you could apply for the recycling if you're wanting to scale that, but and you could think about including the black soldier flies, but we would weight the application around what you've validated and what you've achieved. So and just so folks know, if you've been in other accelerator programs before, what probably differentiates our funding to other grant funding is that we're very meticulous on the commercial application and the commercial trading and growth side. So we look very much at the order book, the financial statements, the bank statements, and what you've validated from clients from what you've sold. So I think that's the way we would look at it. But it's worth applying but worth showing what you've validated and you've shown proof on, and still what you've not validated yet, or you've partly validated. And we can be, we have flexibility in this financial instrument to take a view as well. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, everyone, is that it for today? I think, Sanisha, I think you can close if you want. Thank you from my side. I hope we had really good showing. We still have 54 people. We maxed out at 80 today, so I'm very, very happy. Please go to our URL. Please go to impactamplifier.co.za/renew. There is also in that link, there will be the WhatsApp group. I know Antonio has posted the link to the WhatsApp group. We'll admit you there, and we'll be sharing this recording and all the presentations through there, and some of it on the website. And also please expect an update of the Q&A from some of the questions we received. And I know Eric, Antonio will be getting back to you on some of the character issues in the application form. We'll deal with that too. So a big thanks from my side.
Thank you so much, Max, and thank you to all of you for participating today. I think that is really great to have so many people online on a Friday afternoon. And thank you to Gabriella and to Gabs for the session today. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.